Welcome to the deep dive.
You know that feeling, right? You're deep into something online, maybe working with an AI partner on a really cool project. Or perhaps you're learning something new, like some advanced yoga moves.
Hmm.
Or maybe just brainstorming content ideas, the next big TikTok trend, Jelly Belly donuts or whatever.
Right.
And you feel completely private,
Mm.
like totally in your own bubble, in control.
Yeah, you assume everything's locked down.
Exactly. Settings are private. By default, you've never clicked share. You just assume all your work, your ideas, maybe even proprietary stuff. It's all contained right there
Yeah.
inside that digital space.
Safe and sound.
But what if I told you one little thing, just one piece of your digital chat session, might actually be getting shared quietly without you knowing?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is where it gets, well, surprising. We're diving into this really curious case where your chat titles are showing up right there in your browser history, even when everything else seems totally private. What if just that one thing about your session is out there? It's an interesting situation, isn't it? Because these platforms, they often display those, the little lock icons everywhere.
Right, to make you feel secure.
Exactly, to sort of solidify that feeling of privacy. So when you ask what private really means here, especially when you think about what shows up in your browser history,
It changes things.
it does. It makes you question how much is really hidden. So our mission today in this deep dive is really to unpack this unexpected leak of information
Okay.
and figure out what it actually means for you, especially concerning, well, the discretion or lack thereof from that browser history view.
Unpack is
Yeah.
definitely the word. Because what we found, it kind of flies in the face of what most of us just assume.
Mm-hmm.
Even with all those privacy settings supposedly locked tight, it turns out the titles of our chat sessions.
Names you give them.
Yeah, the names. Which, let's be honest, can absolutely give away the nature of your chat, right?
They certainly can.
Those titles are appearing right there in your browser history, along with the exact time you went into that chat.
Wow.
So the platform says private, we feel private. But you're saying this key piece of metadata, the title itself, is still somehow exposed. How does that even happen? And what's the real risk if someone sees, I don't know, Project Gemini brainstorm or therapy session notes in my history?
That really is the core issue, that intuitive expectation you have. It's being broken.
Okay.
And often it comes down to how these web applications actually structure their URLs, their web addresses.
The technical side?
A little bit, yeah. Many platforms create these dynamic URLs where the chute title, the name you give it, is literally embedded right into the address bar text.
Oh,
So even if the chat content, what you're typing, is encrypted and safe,
right.
the house might be locked, but the address for that house, which includes a sort of descriptive street name, the title, that still gets logged by your browser's history function.
I see. So it's like a design oversight.
You could call it that. It's actually pretty common in web design. Sometimes prioritizing user convenience, like making titles clickable links in a list, can unintentionally override really granular privacy for metadata, like the title itself.
Okay, but is it just a minor thing, or is this genuinely risky?
Well, think about it. It's potentially more than just a slight concern. It's basically creating a roadmap for anyone who happens to look at your browser history. Imagine seeing Project Phoenix Q3 strategy listed there, or proprietary AI algorithm development, or something deeply personal, like personal health journey tracking.
Oof, yeah.
Suddenly, it's not just about feeling private. This could lead to actual competitive intelligence leaks or compromise really sensitive personal information,
Right.
or even just create this searchable, time-stamped trail. Think about legal discovery or investigations down the line. It turns what you thought was a secure internal workspace into, well, an accidental public directory of your projects and thoughts.
That analogy from our source material really nails it, I think.
The house one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you walk into your house, you close all the doors, shut the windows, you feel totally safe inside, right?
It's secure.
But then it's like a neighbor comes over and puts this big decorative wreath on your front door.
Okay.
And this wreath has a little sign on it describing exactly what you're doing inside your supposedly private house.
Right.
So now anyone driving by your house on what we're calling the browser history street, they can see that sign.
They get a clue about what's going on inside.
Exactly. It's almost like comically invasive when you think about it that way. I mean, who puts a sign like that on their front door?
Nobody, you'd hope.
But digitally, that's kind of what's happening here with these chat titles.
And what makes this even more significant, perhaps, is that the author of the source material we looked at, they did quite a bit of digging.
Okay.
And they found only one digital space, just one platform, that didn't do this, that didn't show the titles and the history.
Only one. Out of how many?
They checked quite a few. It suggests this isn't just some random glitch on one or two sites. It seems to be a pretty widespread design pattern.
Wow. Okay, so it's common. Are there things we do as users that might make it worse without realizing? Or conversely, are there simple things we can do to, mitigate this a bit? Besides the obvious, like not naming chat's top secret world domination plan.
Huh. Yeah, well, you actually just hit on one of the key things, being conscious about how you name your chats.
Just be more generic.
Exactly. Using more generic titles can definitely limit the exposure if it does leak into the history. That's one step.
Makes sense.
Another thing, which is pretty widely available, is using your browser's incognito or private browsing mode, especially for sensitive sessions.
Right. Incognito.
Yeah, when you close an incognito window, generally it's history, cookies, site data, it's all wiped.
So the title wouldn't get saved locally.
Correct. Now, it doesn't magically fix the platform's URL structure if the title is in the URL, but it does prevent your local browser on your machine from keeping that record in its history. It's not a perfect fix for every situation, but it's a pretty significant step you can take.
Good tip.
And maybe just adjusting expectations. In terms of user behavior, simply not assuming absolute default privacy for every single piece of metadata from every digital platform. That's probably a healthier mindset nowadays.
A bit more digital skepticism is maybe warranted.
Perhaps, yeah. Healthy skepticism.
So what does this really mean for you listening right now? Well, it kind of boils down to a direct call to action, inspired by our source material. We really encourage you to do this. Just check your browser history. Actively look for those chat session titles from your digital spaces.
See what's there.
Yeah, go on, check for yourselves. What kinds of descriptive chat titles are you maybe inadvertently showing off in your browser history? Are there any decorative wreaths on your digital doors?
You might be surprised.
You might. Are you showing the world latest, greatest breakthrough yoga moves or maybe Q4 strategic planning session notes? It's like a little digital window into your private work or thoughts that you definitely never intended to open.
And it's time-stamped, too, which adds another layer.
Right, that timestamp trail.
So this whole thing, it really does raise a pretty important question for all of us. In our increasingly digital lives, where do you personally draw the line? What does private truly encompass for you? Especially when there might be these unseen mechanisms, these sort of background processes that could be publicly decorating your digital door, so to speak. Where's your line?